This is the audiobook they said was lost. The banned knowledge that reveals how the universe dances to the rhythm of your thoughts. As you listen, you'll see that nothing was ever hidden. It was merely forgotten. You are not learning. You are remembering the power that was always yours. Banned knowledge. Introduction. Before the dawn of reason and the age of forgetting, there was a knowing, pure, effortless, and eternal. It lived in every heart, whispered through every breath, and shimmered in the silence between thoughts. This was the banned knowledge, the sacred truth that the universe itself listens to you, echoing your every belief in form and circumstance. You have felt it before, in the moments when the impossible bowed before your quiet certainty, when dreams slipped from imagination into reality as if guided by unseen hands. These were not coincidences, but reminders, glimpses of a greater law that binds thought to creation, feeling to form, and soul to the infinite field of all that is. This knowledge was never erased, only veiled, hidden beneath centuries of noise, doubt, and reason's brittle pride. Yet it has waited, patient as the stars, for the moment you would remember. For in truth, nothing was ever lost. Only your remembrance was asleep. What follows are not new teachings, but the return of an ancient rhythm, the pulse of creation itself. As you listen, you will not learn, but reawaken. You will remember that the universe does not respond to your words, but to the vibration of your being. And as that vibration rises, the world reshapes itself in perfect harmony with your inner song. This is the banned knowledge, the law behind all laws, the secret that life itself was built upon. Reality mirrors consciousness. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. Part 1. Hidden Mechanics of Desire. Chapter 1. The Glass Garden. There once lived a young botanist named Maisie who tended a greenhouse filled with rare specimens. Though she followed every scientific protocol with precision, she noticed something peculiar. Her plants seemed to respond not to traditional growing conditions, but to the tenor of her thoughts. On days when her heart brimmed with joy, every leaf stretched toward an invisible sun. The orchids unfurled new blooms, and seedlings pushed through soil with unexpected vigor. Yet when worry clouded her mind, the same plants would droop and fade, despite identical care. This pattern revealed itself too consistently to ignore. Through patient observation, Maisie discovered the first truth. All physical forms exist first as energetic echoes in the unseen realm. The material world flows from this subtle template, responding to the quality of attention we direct toward it. When we approach life with gratitude and crystal clarity, our creative power magnifies. But when doubt seeps in, even the most carefully tended gardens begin to wither. Just as Maisie's plants flourished under her optimistic gaze, all of creation responds to the vibration of our focused awareness. The universe mirrors back to us the exact frequency we transmit. This is not metaphor, but mechanism, the fundamental architecture through which reality manifests. In a distant workshop, an inventor named Thomas labored over his life's obsession, a perpetual motion device that defied conventional physics. For years, the machine would spin briefly, then falter. But one day, watching his creation with pure, childlike wonder. Thomas witnessed something extraordinary. The wheel continued turning, powered by nothing but his unwavering expectation of success. This simple story reveals a profound truth. Belief is not merely a passive state, but an active current that feeds the very substance of reality. When we maintain an unshakable knowing, we tap into the same force that keeps planets spinning and hearts beating. The practice of conscious creation begins with training your vibrational signature. Each morning as dawn breaks, find a quiet moment and close your eyes for 90 seconds. In your mind's eye, see your deepest dreams as if they already surround you in vivid detail. Allow genuine gratitude to well up from within, knowing that this feeling of appreciation is your energetic signature, the frequency that calls your desires into physical form. Let this gratitude flow freely before any external evidence appears, for it is this very feeling that signals to the universe your readiness to receive. Through this daily attunement, you align yourself with the natural laws of manifestation. Like Maisie's flourishing greenhouse and Thomas's impossible machine, your focused appreciation becomes the bridge between potential and reality. The power has always been within you, waiting only for your conscious recognition and directed attention to spring into action. Chapter 2. The Unwritten Map. In the misty mountains where cartographers once charted unknown territories, Clara discovered a gift that defied explanation. Each map she drew became more than mere lines on paper. It manifested as physical paths through the wilderness. Her first realization came when a shortcut she had sketched between two villages appeared overnight, cutting through previously impassable terrain. As word spread of her magical maps, Clara withdrew deeper into the mountains, understanding that she had stumbled upon one of the universe's hidden laws. The paths she drew emerged not from her pen, but from the certainty in her mind as she envisioned them. When her thoughts wavered, the trails would fade. When her vision remained steady, they endured. Your mind operates in precisely this way. Every thought you hold creates an energetic blueprint that the universe recognizes as a set of coordinates. These coordinates become the framework upon which physical reality arranges itself. Most people draft these blueprints unconsciously, allowing circumstances to shape their mental landscape. Yet you possess the power to consciously design the architecture of your experience. The difference between deliberate and accidental creation lies in your relationship with what appears before you. When you accept what is as the primary reality, you surrender your creative authority to circumstance. But when you hold steady to what feels true in your heart, you become the architect of your experience rather than its witness. This truth finds its echo in the tale of Samuel, a sailor who puzzled his crew by never consulting maps or stars. They noticed that their ship would invariably dock in harbors that matched his mood, bustling ports when he felt adventurous, peaceful coves when he sought solitude. Samuel had unknowingly mastered the art of emotional navigation, allowing his feelings to guide the ship more surely than any compass. His crew would watch in amazement as storms cleared or favorable winds arose in perfect alignment with their captain's disposition. They came to understand that Samuel's emotional state was not responding to their journey. Rather, their journey was responding to him. You too are navigating through life by the compass of your emotions. Your feelings are not merely reactions to events. They are the invisible current directing your ship. Willpower may set your course, but it is the sustained resonance of your emotional state that ultimately determines your destination. Take note of how Samuel's story mirrors your own journey. When you attempt to force your way toward a goal while harboring doubt or resistance, you find yourself tacking against the wind. Yet when you align your emotions with your destination, circumstances mysteriously cooperate with your passage. Practice. As each day draws to a close, take up your pen and rewrite the events as though everything unfolded perfectly. Rather than documenting what happened, craft the day as you wished it to be. Feel the satisfaction of each moment playing out in ideal harmony. Let your body absorb the reality of this preferred timeline until it feels more genuine than your memories of what occurred. This is not an exercise in denial, but in energetic realignment. As you sleep, your consciousness will begin bridging the gap between what was and what could be. With each morning, you'll find the outer world increasingly conforming to your inner vision, for you have provided it with new coordinates to follow. Chapter 3. The Mirror Feather. In the valleys where mountains cast long shadows, there lived an artist named Hattie, whose brush strokes held a peculiar magic. Though her voice rarely rose above a whisper in the village market, her paintings spoke volumes. One morning, as she touched her brush to canvas to paint a feather, something extraordinary occurred. The painted feather lifted from the canvas and drifted through her studio like autumn leaves in a gentle breeze. Each feather she painted took flight, carrying with it the essence of her innermost thoughts. When her heart felt light, the feathers floated with graceful elegance. On days weighted by doubt, they fell heavily to the floor. Through this mysterious gift, Hattie discovered the ancient truth. The world around us mirrors what lives within. The universe operates through reflection, not resistance. Every circumstance, every encounter, every moment of your life echoes the frequency of your inner world. Like Hattie's floating feathers, your reality responds not to what you demand of it, but to what you emanate. When you perceive life as an adversary, it presents obstacles. When you recognize it as a mirror, it reveals paths. Release the habit of forcing outcomes or placing blame upon the world. Your circumstances are not happening to you. They are responding through you. The universe knows no opposition. It knows only reflection. Like a still lake at dawn, it mirrors back precisely what hovers above its surface. In a distant village lived a young girl who discovered this truth through innocence. Each morning, she approached her mirror and whispered words of kindness. "You are loving. You are worthy. You are a friend to all." As seasons passed, children who had once seemed distant began seeking her company. Their words echoed the very kindness she had spoken to her reflection. Without knowing the mechanics of this sacred law, she had activated its power through pure-hearted practice. Your words to yourself are seeds planted in the fertile soil of consciousness. The universe tends these seeds with faithful precision, bringing to bloom exactly what you have sown. Harsh self-judgment yields harsh circumstances. Gentle self-acceptance yields gentle possibilities. The power of this law lies not in controlling the world around you, but in tending to the garden of your inner dialogue. Like Hattie's feathers and the young girl's friendships, your external life will begin to float or flow in harmony with your self-directed speech. Before surrendering to sleep each night, speak 5 generous truths about yourself aloud. Let your voice carry tenderness. I am worthy of good things. My heart knows how to love deeply. I bring light wherever I go. I am growing stronger each day. The universe delights in helping me. The kinder the tone, the more swiftly reality mirrors back agreeing circumstances. Remember, the world is not your opponent. It is your reflection, waiting to ripple back to you the very qualities you dare to recognize in yourself. Chapter 4. The Gold Between Thoughts. In a small town where time seemed to flow like honey, there lived a watchmaker named Doris who crafted timepieces of exquisite beauty. Her workshop hummed with the gentle ticking of countless clocks, each marking the measured march of moments. Yet she noticed something peculiar. The most extraordinary occurrences manifested not in her hours of focused labor, but in the spaces between her efforts. When her hands stilled and her mind quieted, pocket watches would mysteriously align their hands, broken mechanisms would heal themselves, and intricate complications would assemble with perfect precision. These moments of grace arrived not through force or determination, but through surrender. This revelation unveils a universal truth. Creation flows most freely when you step aside. The universe operates not through constant effort, but through rhythmic allowing. Like the space between heartbeats, or the silence between musical notes, power resides in the pause. Your thoughts, like waves upon the ocean, rise and fall naturally. Between each thought lies a gateway, a moment of pure potential where the universe listens with its full attention. This sacred interval holds the raw energy of creation, waiting to be shaped by your deepest intentions. When you cease the endless doing and rest in being, miracles unfold with effortless grace. The law of attraction responds not to your striving, but to your allowing. In stillness, you become a clear channel through which the universe expresses its infinite possibilities. In a city far from Doris's workshop lived a writer who understood this truth through unexpected means. She had labored for years on a manuscript, forcing each word onto the page with determined effort. One evening, exhausted and surrendered, she left her final sentence unfinished. And then she realized. That night, as she slept, life began completing her story in ways more magnificent than she could have imagined. Opportunities appeared, characters from her book seemed to walk into her life, and situations aligned with uncanny precision to mirror her unfinished tale. The writer discovered what Doris had learned through her watches, that creation flourishes in the space of surrender. By releasing her grip on the outcome, she allowed the universe to contribute its infinite wisdom to her work. Like these women, you hold within you the power to access this field of pure potential. Between your thoughts lies a golden doorway to universal intelligence. When you rest in this space, you align with the natural flow of creation. Ancient practice of stillness. Set a timer for 3 minutes daily. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Allow your breath to flow naturally, neither forcing nor controlling it. As thoughts arise, observe them without attachment, like watching clouds pass across an endless sky. Feel the space between your thoughts expanding, opening into vast potential. In this silence, the universe speaks its clearest truth. The gold hiding between your thoughts is your doorway to inspired flow. Chapter 5. The River Remembers. In a sun-dappled studio among ancient olive trees, June shaped clay with hands that knew the language of earth. Each morning, as she centered her clay upon the wheel, she noticed an extraordinary phenomenon. Her vessel seemed to carry echoes of the emotions that filled her while creating them. The bowls she crafted during moments of joy became vessels of abundance, somehow making even simple meals taste more nourishing. Vases formed in peace gathered light differently, casting gentle shadows that soothed troubled minds. Yet when worry crept into her thoughts, the resulting pieces felt hollow, unable to hold water for more than a day. This truth extends beyond pottery. Everything in existence holds the vibrational imprint of its creation. Your world is not merely a collection of objects, but a living gallery of emotional memories, each item storing and broadcasting the energy present at its formation. Think of the walls of your home, silently absorbing every laugh, every tear, every moment of peace or discord. Consider the ring passed down through generations, carrying not just metal and stone, but the accumulated love of countless embraces. These are not mere poetic notions, but manifestations of the universe's fundamental nature. That energy leaves its signature in matter. Along the northern coast, where waves whispered ancient secrets to the shore, lived an aging fisherman named Thomas. His nets had grown empty, his boat weathered by years of toil. One stormy evening, while mending his nets, he found an old compass in his tackle box, a gift from his father when he first learned to sail. Holding it, he remembered the pure joy of those early morning lessons, the thrill of learning to read the sea's moods, the warm pride in his father's eyes. As he allowed himself to fully experience these memories, something shifted in the waters around his harbor. The next dawn, fish seemed to leap into his nets, drawn by currents that hadn't flowed for decades. By remembering joy, he had called forth its echo in the present moment. This principle operates in your life with unwavering precision. Every space you inhabit, every object you touch, becomes encoded with your emotional frequency. When you understand this, you gain the power to consciously imprint your environment with chosen vibrations rather than unconscious patterns. The objects surrounding you are not passive things but active participants in your energetic field. They can either amplify your intended frequency or hold you in old patterns. By consciously working with this principle, you transform your environment into a supporting chorus for your highest aspirations. Ancient practice of conscious imprinting. Choose one object you touch daily. Infuse it with conscious gratitude until it glows in perception. Watch how harmony begins to gather around it like sunlight on calm water. Chapter 6. The Whisper Library. In the oldest wing of the city library, where dust motes danced in shafts of amber light, Lenora discovered an astonishing truth. Between weathered volumes and forgotten tomes, she began hearing whispers, not of past wisdom, but of things yet to come. At first they seemed like fragments of dreams, machines that could heal with light, gardens that grew in desert air, vehicles that ran on thought alone. As she shelved books each evening, these whispers grew clearer, more insistent. She found herself writing them down, filling notebook after notebook with descriptions of innovations that seemed impossible. Yet, month by month, headlines began matching her notes, inventions emerging exactly as she had recorded them. What Lenora stumbled upon reveals a profound truth about the nature of time and consciousness. Your intuition is not mere guesswork or pattern recognition. It is memory flowing backward through time. The future already exists in infinite possibility, and your inner knowing is simply remembering which path you chose. This explains why genuine intuitive insights carry a feeling of recognition rather than speculation. When you sense something with certainty, you are not predicting, you are remembering. The future reaches back to touch you through the corridor of now, leaving impressions like footprints in sand before the walker passes. In a valley where mountain winds carried ancient songs, lived a composer named Raphael. Each night, melodies would wake him from sleep, strange, haunting tunes that seemed to come from nowhere. He wrote them down faithfully, creating a collection of music unlike anything heard before. Years later, archaeologists discovered clay flutes in caves near his home. When played, these instruments, over 3,000 years old, produced the exact melodies Raphael had transcribed. He hadn't composed new music. He had remembered songs that were always there, waiting in the spiral of time. Time is not a straight line but a sphere, where every moment touches every other moment. Your intuition is your awareness of these touching points, these places where tomorrow's wisdom seeps into today's consciousness. The future is not a distant country. It is a library where all possibilities are already written, waiting for you to remember which book you chose to read. When you receive an intuitive flash, you are not generating a new thought. You are tuning into a frequency that already exists. Like a radio receiving distant signals, your consciousness picks up broadcasts from versions of reality that have already unfolded in the eternal now. This is why genuine, intuitive guidance often feels both surprising and familiar. It carries the resonance of recognition, the quiet certainty of remembered truth. Your task is not to create these insights, but to clear the static that prevents you from receiving them clearly. Ancient practice of future memory. Record spontaneous ideas, however illogical. They are postcards from futures you've already traversed. Chapter 7. The Candle That Never Melted. In a small antique shop tucked between shadows and time, Edie discovered a curious candle. The shopkeeper, his eyes twinkling with ancient knowing, told her it was older than memory itself. "This flame," he whispered, "burns without end, consuming nothing but doubt." That evening, Edie lit the wick and watched in wonder as golden light filled her room. The wax remained pristine, untouched by the dancing flame. Hour after hour the candle burned bright, defying every law she had learned. But as dawn approached, questions began to crowd her mind. How was this possible? What forces could sustain an eternal flame? With each analytical thought, the flame dimmed slightly. By morning, when her scientific curiosity had reached its peak, the light quietly extinguished itself, leaving only a wisp of smoke and an untouched wick. The universe operates on principles far beyond human comprehension. When you encounter a miracle, your analytical mind becomes its greatest threat. Understanding is not required for receiving. In fact, the need to understand often becomes the very barrier that prevents blessings from flowing. Every miracle carries its own wisdom, but that wisdom reveals itself through experience, not examination. The moment you begin to dissect a blessing, you interrupt its natural expansion. Like a flower that closes under too direct a gaze, the miraculous thrives in the gentle light of acceptance. Consider the tale of the mysterious chalice in the mountain monastery. For centuries, Pilgrims journeyed to witness the glass that filled itself with crystal-clear water. Yet it would only perform this feat when no one watched directly. Those who sat with their backs turned, engaging in prayer or meditation, would hear the gentle sound of flowing water. But every attempt to study or observe the phenomenon resulted in silence. The monks understood. The miracle wasn't meant to be studied, it was meant to be received. Their wisdom lay not in explaining the inexplicable, but in creating space for it to exist. This teaches us a fundamental truth about the nature of blessings. They flourish in the soil of acceptance, not analysis. When you release the need to understand how good fortune finds you, you remove the barriers to receiving even greater abundance. Your role is not to investigate the mechanics of miracles, but to create an environment where they can multiply naturally. The universe's greatest gifts often come with a simple instruction: receive without resistance. Let go of the impulse to examine, explain, or justify. Your acceptance, free from analysis, becomes an invitation for more miracles to manifest. Your rational mind serves many valuable purposes, but in the realm of the miraculous, it must learn to bow to mystery. The more you can embrace blessings without needing to understand them, the more frequently they will appear in your life. Ancient practice of pure reception. For one whole day, refuse to mentally explain a blessing. Just breathe, nod, and let it expand. Chapter 8. The Listening Stone. Long ago, in a village where mountains whispered their wisdom to the valleys below, there lived a woman named Beulah who carried an ordinary river stone in her pocket. One morning, as she held the stone close to her heart, she felt more than its smooth surface. She heard its gentle guidance, not in words, but in waves of knowing that rippled through her consciousness. The universal force speaks through all things, for all matter vibrates with the pulse of creation. What Beulah discovered was not magic, but the natural state of communion between consciousness and form. The stone became her teacher, showing her that every particle of existence holds the wisdom of the whole. When you attune yourself to the frequency of trust, the world reveals its messages through unexpected channels. Your environment becomes a living oracle, each element a gateway to deeper understanding. This is not supernatural. It is the natural order restored, the veil of separation dissolved. The stone spoke clearest when Beulah released her grip on doubt. In moments of pure receptivity, solutions to long-standing problems would emerge with stunning clarity. The universe had always been speaking. She had simply learned to listen. A merchant named Thomas discovered this truth through a different teacher, his own echo in a mountain valley. Each morning he would call out his dreams to the distant cliffs. At first the echo merely repeated his words, but as his trust deepened, the returning sound carried new insights, guiding him toward prosperous decisions. What Thomas heard was not mystical intervention, but the universe reflecting his highest wisdom back to him. The echo became a mirror for his inner knowing, showing him that answers arise when we create space to receive them. Your reality constantly responds to your consciousness. Like Beulah's stone and Thomas's echo, every aspect of your experience offers guidance when approached with open awareness. The key lies not in forcing communication, but in recognizing the dialogue that already exists. The stone and echo represent the countless ways universal intelligence makes itself known. Through stillness, through trust, Through the simple act of allowing, you tap into this endless stream of wisdom. Your world is not dead matter, but living consciousness expressing itself through infinite forms. Ancient practice. Find a quiet moment in your day. Ask a simple question aloud, then enter complete silence. The first gentle response that arises within you is not mere imagination. It is universal intelligence speaking through your own inner knowing. Trust this subtle voice. It carries the same wisdom that guided Beulah through her stone and Thomas through his echo. Practice this daily, and watch as the boundary between question and answer dissolves into pure knowing. Chapter 9. The Sky Drawer. In a city of steel and stone, where buildings rose like geometric prayers into the sky, there lived an architect named Lois. Each morning, she would gaze upward at the clouds, watching as they arranged themselves into impossible structures, soaring arches, spiraling towers, and gardens suspended in air. At first, she dismissed these visions as mere fancy, until the day she noticed a peculiar thing. The buildings she glimpsed in the clouds began appearing in the physical world. It started with a small pavilion, its curves exactly matching the whispers of vapor she had witnessed at dawn. Then came a bridge whose graceful span mirrored a cloud formation she had sketched weeks before. The universe was teaching her that imagination is not separate from reality. It is reality's first breath. When you look into the vast field of possibility, your consciousness does not merely observe, it creates. Every thought you hold with sustained attention becomes a blueprint in the ethereal realm, drawing substance toward its form. This is the hidden architecture of manifestation. Vision precedes structure. Dreams shape matter. The power lies not in forcing creation, but in allowing your natural state of imaginative play to inform the physical world. Your mind is the architect's table where infinite possibilities await selection. Each sustained vision sends ripples through the fabric of existence, attracting the elements needed for its expression. In a village far from Lois's city, a young girl named Rose spent her afternoons dreaming of a town square filled with butterflies and flowering trees. She didn't know about manifestation or universal laws. She simply loved to imagine beauty. Slowly, mysteriously, the square began to change. First came the wildflowers, sprouting through cracks in the cobblestones. Then butterflies appeared, drawn to the unexpected blooms. Within a season, the stark plaza had transformed into a living garden, exactly as she had pictured in her daydreams. Rose's pure, uncluttered imagination demonstrated a crucial truth. Creation flowers most freely when unburdened by rigid purpose. Her dreams reshaped reality because she never questioned whether they should. She simply held them with joy and let them unfold. This is the essence of manifestation. Not a striving, but a playing. Not a forcing, but a dreaming. The universe responds most generously to visions held in the spirit of delight rather than demand. Your imagination is not separate from the world. It is the world taking shape through you. Ancient practice. Choose one desire, not for its practical value or urgent need, but purely for the joy it brings to imagine. Paint this vision in your mind with the freedom of a child at play. Add colors that please you, details that delight you. Then, with the same lightness of spirit, release your creation completely. Let it drift like a soap bubble on the wind. Watch how reality begins to shimmer with its reflection, bringing your dream back to you in unexpected ways. This is not manifesting through force, but through freedom, the natural way of universal creation. Chapter 10. The Frequency Bridge. In the back room of a dusty repair shop, an old radio crackled to life under Hugh's careful touch. His fingers, weathered by decades of mending broken circuits, moved with practiced precision across dials and wires. Yet on this particular evening, as the vacuum tubes warmed and the speakers hummed, he noticed something extraordinary. Each emotion passing through his mind seemed to alter the radio's frequency. When worry clouded his thoughts, the signal weakened to static. In moments of joy, music flowed crystal clear. Through countless experiments, Hugh discovered that feelings weren't merely abstract experiences. They were living frequencies, each carrying its own signature tone. The universe speaks in vibration. Every desire you hold resonates at a specific frequency, and like attracts, like across the infinite field of possibility. Your emotional state is not just a response to life. It is the broadcast that determines which experiences can reach you. Think of yourself as a living instrument, constantly transmitting and receiving. When you attune yourself to the frequency of what you seek, you become a natural receiver for its manifestation. Joy attracts joy. Peace draws peace. Abundance flows toward the feeling of abundance. This is why forced positivity often falls flat. It's not about maintaining an artificial high note, but about finding your authentic resonance with what you desire. Your genuine enthusiasm creates a clear channel through which the universe can deliver matching experiences. To illustrate this truth, there exists a tale of two ancient bells in a mountain temple. These bells, crafted by master artisans, would only ring when their tones perfectly matched. For centuries, monks tried forcing them to sound through stronger strikes or clever techniques, yet the bells remained silent until one young monk simply listened to their natural frequency and matched it with his own humming. In that moment of perfect resonance, both bells began to sing. This story mirrors your relationship with destiny. You cannot force manifestation through willpower alone. Instead, tune yourself to the feeling tone of what you seek. When your vibration matches your desire, reality has no choice but to reflect that harmony back to you. The law is simple. You receive what you're attuned to receive. If you broadcast lack, you'll pick up more signals of scarcity. If you transmit gratitude, abundance finds its way to your frequency. This is not metaphor. It is the physics of consciousness itself. Your thoughts and emotions are not private internal events. They are broadcasts reaching into the quantum field, drawing back experiences that match their tone. Each morning presents a fresh opportunity to tune your inner dial to the frequency of your highest vision. Ancient practice. Hum softly each morning until a note feels like peace. Let that vibration carry your intentions forward like a frequency bridge between imagination and experience. Part 2. The Echo Field and the Dreamer's Code. Chapter 11. The Reunion of Shadows. In a sunlit studio, Pearl crafted delicate glass ornaments, each piece catching light differently depending on her state of mind. One morning, she noticed something peculiar. Her anxieties weren't just emotions, they were active participants in creation. When fear of breaking a piece gripped her heart, the glass would indeed shatter. Yet on days when she welcomed the possibility of imperfection, even dropped pieces would bounce unharmed. What you resist persists, but what you embrace transforms. Your fears are not obstacles to manifestation. They are raw, creative energy awaiting direction. Every shadow you cast is simply light bent through the prism of your perception. When you fight against what you don't want, you amplify its presence in your reality. The universe responds to all vibrations, whether born of love or fear. Your anxieties are as powerful as your aspirations. They too shape the clay of existence. But here lies a revolutionary truth. Fear itself is neither good nor bad. It is pure energy seeking recognition, waiting to be transformed through your conscious attention. Consider how a prism doesn't fight against darkness but allows light to reveal its hidden spectrum. Similarly, when you meet your fears with understanding rather than resistance, they reveal their gifts. Anxiety about money carries the seed of abundance appreciation. Fear of loneliness holds the blueprint for deep connection. In a distant valley lived a gardener named Rose who discovered this truth through an unexpected source: weeds. While others fought against these unwanted plants, she chose to thank them for their persistence. She appreciated their will to live, their ability to find light in the smallest cracks. Gradually, these weeds began to transform. Their flowers grew more vibrant, their forms more graceful. The plants she once battled became the most beautiful features of her garden. This transformation wasn't magic. It was alchemy through acceptance. By loving what was unwanted, she changed its essential nature. The weeds remained strong and resilient, but these qualities now expressed as beauty rather than invasion. Your fears operate by the same principle. When you resist them, they grow stronger in their current form. But when you thank them for their presence, acknowledge their intention to protect or prepare you, they begin to shift. The energy bound up in anxiety can transform into excitement. The weight of worry can become the foundation of wisdom. This is not about suppressing darkness or forcing it into light. It's about recognizing that what appears as shadow is simply light, waiting to be understood differently. Every fear carries within it the seed of its opposite virtue. Every worry points toward a deeper wisdom. Ancient practice. Place a hand on your chest and thank one discomfort for teaching you contrast. Gratitude untangles its power. Chapter 12. The Breath Agreement. In a dimly lit tavern among ancient stone walls, Vera stood frozen before her audience. The melody of her lute continued, but the words she had sung 1,000 times vanished like morning mist. Her heart raced as silence threatened to engulf the room. Yet in that moment of surrender, something extraordinary unfolded. As Vera closed her eyes, accepting the void where her lyrics should have been, voices rose from the gathering. First one, then another, until the entire room swelled with the forgotten verse. The song, now carried by dozens of voices, took on a life beyond her original creation. What began as her personal failure transformed into a tapestry of unified voices, each thread strengthening the whole. This moment reveals a fundamental truth about the nature of creation. When you release your grip on control, you open the channel for collective power to flow through you. The universe operates not through isolated actions, but through synchronized vibrations, each soul contributing to the greater harmony. Think of reality as an infinite orchestra, where every thought, every feeling, every intention plays its part. When you struggle alone, forcing your will against the current, you create discord. But when you align with the natural flow, surrendering your need to direct every note, you tap into a power far greater than individual effort. In the marketplace of an ancient city, a blind musician played his flute while travelers passed. Those who stopped to listen found their footsteps naturally falling into rhythm, their breaths synchronizing without conscious thought. Soon, the entire square moved as one organism, united by an invisible thread of harmony. This tale mirrors your own journey. The moments when life seems most out of control often precede the greatest demonstrations of universal support. Your perceived failures are invitations to trust in something larger than your individual capacity. When you release your grip on how things should be, you allow the collective wisdom to carry you forward. The power of co-creation emerges not from forcing reality to bend to your will, but from aligning your frequency with the natural flow of life. Like Vera discovering the strength of collective voice, you too can tap into this field of infinite potential. Ancient practice. Find a quiet moment with another being, human, animal, or even a tree. Allow your breath to naturally synchronize with theirs for 1 minute. Notice how the boundaries between self and other begin to dissolve, how loneliness melts into connection. This simple practice reveals the truth that you were never meant to create alone. Through harmony with others, you access the infinite power of collective consciousness. Chapter 13. The Secret Weather. In the heart of a small valley town, Nellie spent her days studying atmospheric patterns from her observatory. Her instruments were precise, her predictions scientifically sound, yet something puzzled her. The forecasts that aligned perfectly with barometric pressure and wind patterns would mysteriously shift when the townspeople gathered for celebrations or mourning. One autumn morning, as dark clouds loomed overhead threatening rain, the town received news of a child's recovery from illness. As joy spread through the streets, Nellie watched in amazement as the heavy clouds transformed into a gentle golden mist. The instruments showed no explanation for this change, but her heart recognized a deeper truth. This revelation opens a window into the subtle mechanics of shared consciousness. Your world is not merely a collection of independent elements, but a living reflection of collective emotional vibration. The atmosphere around you responds not just to temperature and pressure, but to the unified field of human experience. Think of the air you breathe as a vast ocean of shared feeling, carrying the invisible currents of collective thought. When communities unite in joy, gratitude, or peace, these vibrations ripple outward, touching every molecule of physical reality. The weather patterns you observe are not separate from you. They are the physical expression of humanity's inner climate. In an ancient mountain village, drought had parched the land for months. No rain fell despite optimal conditions for precipitation. A traveling wise woman observed the villagers' solemn faces and heavy hearts, remnants of an old tragedy. She gathered them in the village square and shared stories that sparked laughter. As their mirth grew, clouds began forming overhead. With each wave of joy, the clouds thickened until finally, rain blessed the earth. The drought ended not through changing weather patterns, but through transforming the village's emotional atmosphere. This wisdom reveals why personal transformation inevitably affects your environment. Your inner state is not contained within your body. It radiates outward, joining with others' energies to shape the world you share. When you shift your own vibration, you contribute to the collective field that influences everything from the growth of plants to the formation of clouds. The weather serves as a mirror, reflecting back the sum of human consciousness in any given space. Clear skies or storms, gentle breezes or fierce winds, each condition carries messages about the emotional climate you collectively generate. Ancient practice. When rain falls upon the earth, pause to receive it as nature's response to shared emotion. See each drop as crystallized joy, each rumble of thunder as the echo of collective laughter. Express gratitude for this sacred dialogue between heaven and earth. Through your conscious recognition, you participate in retuning the atmospheric frequencies that dance between sky and ground. This simple acknowledgement helps recalibrate the shared field of experience, reminding you that every weather pattern is a conversation between humanity and the infinite. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Invisible Harvest. In a drought-stricken valley where hope had withered like the cracked earth itself, lived a farmer named Irma. While others abandoned their fields, she continued her daily ritual of walking through her barren land at sunrise, whispering words of love to the dusty soil. "You are fertile," she would say, kneeling to touch the ground. "You are abundant. You are life itself." The neighboring farmers watched with mixture of pity and concern as Irma tended to her seemingly lifeless fields. Yet she persisted, speaking to each acre as if it were already lush with growth. "Thank you for the nourishment you provide," she would say. "Thank you for the harvest that grows beneath your surface." When the first green shoots appeared despite the continuing drought, many dismissed it as a cruel trick of nature. But as weeks passed, Irma's fields transformed into an oasis of abundance, while surrounding farms remained barren. The harvest that followed was unlike any the valley had ever witnessed. This truth emerges from Irma's story. Creation begins in the unseen realm. Just as a seed must first dissolve in darkness before it can sprout, your desires gestate in silence before manifesting in form. The universe operates through this law of invisible inception. Every visible result first takes root in the soil of consciousness. Your words carry the same creative force as the rain and sun. When you speak to your circumstances with unwavering faith, you plant seeds of transformation in the field of infinite possibility. The key lies not in forcing growth, but in maintaining steady faith during the quiet period of gestation. In an ancient mountain temple, a monk planted a garden of prayers. Each morning, he would place a small stone in the earth and speak his heart's deepest yearning. Seasons passed without visible change, yet he continued his practice with the same reverence as the first day. Other monks questioned his dedication to what appeared to be a fruitless ritual. Then, one spring morning, the garden erupted in blooms never before seen in that region. The flowers carried an otherworldly fragrance that brought peace to all who encountered it. When asked about his unwavering patience, the monk simply smiled and said, "I was never waiting for flowers. I was practicing trust." This tale mirrors your own journey of manifestation. What appears as delay is often divine timing, allowing your desire to develop strong roots before breaking through the surface. Every prayer, every affirmation, every moment of faith enriches the soil of your consciousness. The practice. When facing apparent stillness or delay in your manifestations, place your hand upon the earth. Feel its patient wisdom. Speak to your circumstances as Irma spoke to her fields. I trust the unseen growth beneath the surface. I honor the perfect timing of my harvest. Let every moment of waiting become sacred, knowing that beneath the surface, miracles are taking root. Chapter 15. The Memory Lanterns. In the heart of an ancient market, a candlemaker named Lucille discovered an extraordinary truth about her craft. Each candle she poured carried more than just wax and wick. It held the essence of intention itself. Her small shop, fragrant with beeswax and herbs, became a sanctuary where miracles flickered into being. Each morning, as she worked her craft, Lucille noticed that candles lit with specific wishes burned differently. Those imbued with prayers for healing cast a green-gold glow, while candles lit for abundance sparkled with unusual brightness. Most remarkably, when people returned to share their manifestations, the very same candles would spontaneously flicker in recognition. The universe speaks through these subtle languages of light. Every flame is a living bridge between your deepest longings and their fulfillment. When you light a candle with pure intention, you're not merely creating illumination. You're kindling a constellation of possibility into being. The key lies not in the wax or wick, but in the sacred agreement between your consciousness and the eternal flame. Each candle becomes a beacon, broadcasting your desires into the infinite field of potential. The flame dances in harmony with your thought patterns, amplifying their resonance until manifestation becomes inevitable. This wisdom echoes an age-old truth: energy follows intention. Your focused attention, when paired with the elemental power of fire, creates a portal through which dreams can materialize. The flame becomes both witness and catalyst to your transformative journey. In the mountains far to the east lived a pilgrim who carried only a single candle in his satchel. As darkness fell each evening, he would light this humble taper and watch in wonder as its glow illuminated not just the path before him, but trails he had yet to walk. Other travelers reported seeing his solitary light from miles away, as if it held the brightness of 100 flames. The pilgrim understood what Lucille had discovered, that light carries memory. Each flame remembers the light of all flames that came before it, just as each fulfilled wish creates a template for future manifestations. His candle burned so brightly because it held the accumulated power of every step taken in faith, every prayer whispered in darkness. This ancient knowledge lives within you. Every candle you light with conscious intention joins an unbroken chain of sacred flame, stretching back to the first spark of creation. The flame recognizes your desires because, at the deepest level, you and it are one, pure energy taking form through focused attention. Sacred practice. In the quiet of evening, light a single candle. As you do, speak aloud one wish that has already come true in your life. Watch how the flame responds, Its dance is not random, but a reflection of energy recognizing itself. Let the light remind you that manifestation is your natural state. Stay with this communion until the flame itself feels like a memory of future joy made present. Chapter 16. The Sleeper's Compass. In the gentle shadows between dusk and dawn, a woman named Marjorie began noticing peculiar patterns in her life. Each morning, fragments of her dreams would materialize in unexpected ways. A blue scarf glimpsed in sleep would appear around a stranger's neck. A melody hummed in dreams would drift from a passing car's window. At first, she dismissed these echoes as mere coincidence. Yet as the occurrences multiplied, she could no longer ignore the invisible thread connecting her dream world to waking reality. The most remarkable incident occurred when she dreamed of meeting an old friend beneath a copper-colored maple tree. The next afternoon, while walking an unfamiliar path, she found herself beneath that very tree just as her friend, who happened to be visiting from abroad, rounded the corner. These are not coincidences, but glimpses into the true nature of consciousness. Your dreams serve as scouts, weaving through the fabric of possibility, arranging the perfect conditions for your highest good. Each night, your soul ventures into the quantum field where all potentials exist simultaneously. Here, in this fertile void, your deepest intentions plant seeds that bloom into physical experience. Consider the dreamscape as a workshop where reality is first shaped. In this space, free from physical constraints, your consciousness experiments with different possibilities, selecting the most resonant outcomes. These selections then filter into your waking experience, drawing to you the people, circumstances, and opportunities that match your inner blueprint. This wisdom manifested clearly in the life of Thomas, a museum curator who dreamed of finding an ancient key buried in his garden. Upon waking, he felt compelled to visit an antique shop he'd never noticed before. There, displayed in the window, lay the exact key from his dream. Inside, he discovered the shop owner had been trying to contact him about a rare artifact perfect for his museum's collection. The key appeared in both realms because there is no true separation between dreaming and waking consciousness. They are different octaves of the same infinite song. Your dreams don't predict the future. They participate in its creation. Every night, you engage in this sacred collaboration with the universe, weaving the tapestry of tomorrow through your dreamtime explorations. This is why dream symbols often appear as messengers, bridging the gap between intention and manifestation. Your dreaming mind speaks in the language of pure potential, translating your deepest desires into scenarios that your waking life can then recognize and embrace. To access this power consciously, approach your dreams as active participants in reality's creation. Before sleep, hold your intentions lightly in your awareness. Don't strain to control the outcome. Instead, trust your dream consciousness to arrange the perfect conditions for their fulfillment. The universe speaks most clearly through the symbols and scenarios that emerge naturally in your dreams. Remember, your dreams are not separate from your life. They are life itself in its most fluid form. Each night offers a fresh opportunity to align with the infinite intelligence that orchestrates all of creation. Through your dreams, you participate in the grand dance of manifestation, where thought becomes form and intention shapes reality. Sacred practice. Before sleep, whisper one gentle instruction to your dream self. Expect morning confirmation. Chapter 17. The Clockless Path. In a bustling city where time ruled with iron precision, there lived a woman named Opal who measured her days in 15-minute increments. Her calendar resembled an intricate puzzle, each moment allocated with mathematical precision. Yet, despite her careful planning, she noticed that her most meaningful experiences emerged from moments when her schedule dissolved. One morning, her alarm failed to ring. Instead of rushing to her first appointment, she found herself drawn to a quiet cafe she'd never noticed before. There, a conversation with a stranger led to an opportunity she'd been seeking for months. This small deviation opened her eyes to a deeper truth. The universe operates on its own perfect schedule. The wisdom whispers, when you release your grip on time, you align with the natural rhythm of creation. Every perceived delay carries hidden purpose. Every missed opportunity makes space for something more aligned with your highest good. The universe doesn't consult your calendar before orchestrating miracles. Think of time not as a linear path, but as a river with countless tributaries. Each moment branches into infinite possibilities, yet only those matching your energetic frequency materialize into experience. When you force your way forward, you often swim against the current of divine timing. This truth found beautiful expression in the tale of a monk traveling to a distant monastery. Running late, he watched his train depart without him, causing apparent disruption to his carefully laid plans. Yet in the 3 hours before the next train, he encountered a merchant who had been searching for spiritual guidance. Their conversation not only transformed the merchant's life, but also led to the establishment of a new meditation center that served thousands. The monk's missed train was actually perfect timing disguised as delay. By surrendering to the moment, he allowed himself to be carried by the current of divine orchestration. His story teaches us that the universe's schedule always supersedes our limited planning. You see, linear time exists as a construct of human perception. In the deeper reality, all moments exist simultaneously, and your consciousness draws forth those experiences that serve your highest evolution. When you trust this process, life begins to flow with extraordinary grace. The key lies not in abandoning all structure, but in holding your plans loosely enough for divine intervention to work through them. Let your calendar serve as a suggestion rather than a command. Notice how often the most meaningful connections occur in the spaces between your scheduled moments. Consider how many of your cherished memories were unplanned, the chance encounters that became lifelong friendships, the wrong turns that led to right destinations. These weren't accidents, but carefully orchestrated alignments, possible only because something interrupted your intended course. Sacred practice. Cancel one unnecessary task today. Let the space invite coincidence. Chapter 18. The Light Listener. By surrendering to the flow of divine timing, we open ourselves to synchronicities that our rigid schedules might have prevented. The universe operates through perfect orchestration. Every seeming obstacle serves as a redirect toward greater alignment. In the quiet hills of an ancient village, there lived a photographer named Eddie, who discovered an extraordinary gift. Each time genuine joy filled his heart, the colors before his lens began to emit subtle melodies. Red hummed deep bass notes, while violet whispered high ethereal tones. At first, he questioned his sanity, but soon realized this gift revealed a fundamental truth about reality's responsive nature. Through his lens, Eddie witnessed how the world literally brightened in response to authentic happiness. His photographs captured not just images but frequencies, moments where reality sang back to those who approached it with wonder. His portfolio became a testament to the law of resonance. What we emanate, we attract. The world around you constantly adjusts its frequency to match your inner state. Like Eddie's singing colors, reality shapeshifts according to the vibration you offer. Joy isn't merely an emotion. It's a frequency that expands your capacity to perceive and receive life's hidden dimensions. This truth echoes in the tale of Aurora, a painter who learned to tune emotions through color. In her studio, she discovered that each shade carried its own emotional signature. When she felt anxiety, working with soft blues brought peace. When uncertainty clouded her mind, golden yellows restored clarity. She began to understand that colors weren't just visual experiences, but vibrational tools for emotional alchemy. Through practice, Aurora developed such sensitivity that she could shift her mood simply by engaging with different hues. Her paintings became more than art. They transformed into visual frequencies that altered the emotional atmosphere of any space they occupied. These stories illuminate an essential principle. Your perceptual bandwidth expands or contracts based on your vibrational state. Joy acts as an amplifier, allowing you to tune into the subtle frequencies that surround you always. The world literally becomes more alive, more responsive, more miraculous when viewed through the lens of appreciation. Just as Eddie's camera captured singing colors and Aurora's paintings emanated healing frequencies, you too can expand your perception through conscious resonance with joy. The universe constantly broadcasts on infinite channels. Joy simply helps you access more of them. Ancient practice. Sit facing any source of light, a candle, a window, or even a simple lamp. Allow a genuine smile to form on your face, not from effort, but from the simple pleasure of being. As you maintain this gentle expression, observe how the light seems to respond. Notice any subtle changes in its quality, any sense of it becoming more alive or interactive. This isn't imagination, but rather your expanded perception detecting the inherent responsiveness of reality. Let this experience remind you that everything in existence is engaged in constant conversation with your state of being. Chapter 19. The Story That Rewrites You. In a sunlit attic filled with leather-bound journals, Beryl sat writing stories that seemed to emerge from somewhere beyond memory. Each evening she would take painful moments from her past and weave them into tales where understanding bloomed like night flowers opening to starlight. As she wrote, she noticed something extraordinary. The memories themselves began to shift and transform, as if the ink flowing from her pen was rewriting not just paper, but time itself. When Beryl wrote about her father's absence, she crafted a story where distance taught presence. As the words took shape, her heart's wounds began to heal, and she felt the weight of old grief dissolving into wisdom. Her stories became bridges between what was and what could be, each sentence a step toward wholeness. The universe speaks in narrative, spinning tales through the medium of experience. Your life story is not carved in stone, but written in light, fluid and responsive to the power of conscious revision. When you shift the lens through which you view your past, the present transforms, and future possibilities expand. Every memory holds multiple truths, waiting to be discovered through the art of compassionate reframing. Your mind is not merely a recorder of events, but a master storyteller, capable of extracting medicine from moments of pain, wisdom from wounds, and strength from struggle. In a village far to the east, there lived a woman named Agnes, who spent her days reading in a library filled with mirrors. One day, she discovered a book whose story closely matched her own life's greatest regret. But as she read, she found the character choosing forgiveness where she had chosen blame. Agnes read the story again and again until her own heart softened, and she realized she could revise the ending of her own tale through the simple act of compassionate understanding. This story reveals a profound truth. The stories we tell about our lives become the lens through which we experience reality. By consciously choosing narratives that heal rather than harm, that illuminate rather than darken, we participate in our own transformation. The past is not fixed. It is as alive as the present moment, responsive to the power of loving awareness. Ancient practice of story medicine. Find a quiet moment when you will not be disturbed. Take a memory that still carries pain or regret and write it anew, not as it happened, but as your heart wishes it had unfolded. Let compassion guide your pen. Allow understanding to illuminate the shadows. Write until you feel the shift, until the story transforms from wound to wisdom. This is not denial, but alchemy, turning lead into gold through the power of conscious revision. Let your nervous system absorb this gentler truth, teaching your very cells that softness holds more power than struggle ever could. Chapter 20. The Symmetry Gate. In a whitewashed study filled with chalk dust and morning light, Dottie stood before a blackboard covered in equations. Unlike her colleagues who pursued mathematical truth through pure logic, she had discovered a secret. The numbers danced most clearly when her heart danced with them. Each breakthrough came not through force of intellect, but through a delicate balance of wonder and analytical precision. One autumn morning, while contemplating a particularly challenging theorem, Dottie noticed her frustration had created static in her mind, clouding the elegant solutions that usually flowed so naturally. Taking a deep breath, she allowed joy to rise in her chest like bubbles in champagne. As warmth spread through her body, the numbers on the board began to shimmer with new meaning. In that moment of harmonious attention, the solution revealed itself with crystal clarity. Within every mathematical truth lies a reflection of divine order. The universe speaks in numbers, but listens to emotion. When you approach life's mysteries with balanced heart and mind, reality's hidden architectures become visible. Your consciousness is both the telescope and the stars it observes. The numbers that govern existence are not cold abstractions, but living patterns of relationship. They respond to the quality of attention you bring to them. When curiosity mingles with joy, when wonder partners with precision, the boundaries between observer and observed dissolve into pure understanding. In a distant academy, there lived two geometry teachers who placed identical mirrors facing each other in their classroom. Students gathered to witness how the mirrors created an endless corridor of reflections, each one slightly dimmer than the last, but stretching infinitely in both directions. One student asked, "Where does the corridor end?" The wiser teacher replied, "The same place your consciousness ends, nowhere and everywhere at once." The corridor of mirrors reveals the fundamental nature of awareness. You are simultaneously the viewer and the viewed, the questioner and the answer, the seeker and the sought. Each reflection represents a layer of self-recognition, extending forever into the mystery of being. The mathematics of infinity finds its perfect expression in this simple arrangement of reflecting surfaces. The universe itself operates like these twin mirrors, reflecting back the quality of consciousness you bring to each moment. When you approach life's equations with balanced joy and curiosity, reality responds with crystalline clarity. The observer and the observed merge into a single dance of discovery. Ancient practice of mirror meditation. Position two mirrors so they face each other, creating a corridor of infinite reflections. Sit quietly between them, allowing your gaze to soften as it travels down the endless passage. Whisper softly, "I am the observer and the observed." Feel the truth of these words dissolve the illusory boundary between self and universe. In this space of unified awareness, all equations resolve themselves into perfect harmony. Part 3. The Remembered Self and the Living Universe. Chapter 21. The Heart Frequencer. In a workshop filled with brass gears and copper wires, Willa crafted a peculiar device that defied conventional understanding. Unlike her other inventions that responded to physical inputs, this creation stirred to life only in the presence of authentic emotion. Metal coils would hum when words matched the speaker's heart, and remain silent when encountering pretense. The truth of your existence flows like electricity through every word you speak. When thought, emotion, and speech align, reality responds with unmistakable recognition. This alignment creates a current more powerful than any mechanical force. It is the voltage of authenticity that powers transformation. Through countless experiments, Willa discovered that her machine responded most strongly not to grand declarations or carefully crafted statements, but to simple truths spoken with genuine feeling. A whispered, "I am afraid," would set the dial spinning when uttered from genuine vulnerability, while elaborate praise fell flat if tinged with insincerity. The universe operates on similar principles. Your words carry vibrations that either amplify or diminish your creative power. When you speak from alignment, when your thoughts, feelings, and words move as one, you generate a frequency that reality cannot help but echo. This is not about positive thinking, but rather about honest resonance. In a distant village lived a wise woman known for her extraordinary ability to illuminate paper lanterns with a simple handshake. Those who sought her out discovered that the lanterns would glow only when they greeted her with genuine warmth in their hearts. A false smile or forced pleasantry left the lanterns dark, while authentic connection made them shine like stars. The message was clear. Sincerity generates its own power. Just as electricity flows through closed circuits, truth flows through aligned hearts. Each genuine moment creates a bridge between intention and manifestation. Your honesty becomes the conductor through which universal energy flows. This simple tale reveals a profound truth about your own creative power. When you speak from authentic alignment, you create clear channels for manifestation. Your sincere words become seeds that the universe nurtures into reality. Like the wise woman's lanterns, your life illuminates in response to genuine expression. The mechanics of manifestation require this sacred coherence between inner truth and outer expression. Just as Willa's device responded only to authentic emotion, the universe responds to your genuine vibration. Each aligned word becomes a note in the symphony of creation. Each authentic expression a brushstroke in the painting of your reality. Sacred practice. In the soft light of each morning, speak one truth that rises from both your strength and vulnerability. Let it be simple yet profound, gentle yet powerful. Feel the resonance of authenticity in your body as you voice it. This daily practice calibrates your energetic broadcast, opening channels for miracles to flow naturally into your experience. The power lies not in the words themselves, but in the harmony between your heart's knowing and your voice's expression. Chapter 22. The Fourth Door. In the heart of an ancient monastery, mystic Hazel discovered a truth that would transform her understanding of reality. As she walked the stone corridors each morning, offering blessings to all who passed, she began to notice something extraordinary. Whenever she fully released a grievance she carried, a doorway would shimmer into existence, not physical, but no less real. At first, these passages appeared in moments of spontaneous forgiveness. A fellow mystic had borrowed her cherished meditation shawl and damaged it. As Hazel's heart softened toward her friend's mistake, the wall beside her rippled like water, revealing a portal filled with golden light. Through it, she glimpsed versions of herself, freed from the weight of judgment. The universe whispers this truth in every moment. Forgiveness is not merely an emotional release. It is a frequency that alters the fabric of space itself. When you truly forgive, you activate an ancient mechanism woven into creation's blueprint. Each act of compassion creates a quantum doorway through which new possibilities can enter your reality. This principle manifests in every realm of existence. Your thoughts construct walls of limitation, yet each one contains a hidden threshold. These barriers seem solid only until touched by the light of understanding. In forgiving others, you forge keys that unlock these invisible passages. In forgiving yourself, you discover you were never truly confined. Consider the tale of the laughing prisoners. In a remote mountain jail, 3 inmates shared a cell with walls so thick no sound could penetrate them. One day they began to laugh, not at their circumstances, but with pure joy at life's absurdity. As their laughter grew more genuine, more free of bitterness, the walls began to sing. First one stone, then another, until the entire cell resonated with their mirth. In that moment of perfect freedom from resentment, they found themselves standing in a meadow, the prison existing only as a memory of a lesson learned. This story mirrors your own journey. Every grudge, every judgment, every moment of unforgiveness builds another stone in your personal prison. Yet within each stone lies a door, waiting to be recognized through the eyes of compassion. Your hardest feelings toward others are simply calls for love, disguised as walls but designed as thresholds. The physics of forgiveness operates on frequencies higher than matter. When you release someone from the prison of your judgment, you simultaneously free yourself from the role of jailer. This liberation creates ripples through the quantum field, restructuring the very space around you. What appeared as solid barriers dissolves into doorways of possibility. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Bring to mind someone you've struggled to forgive. Breathe deeply and imagine your heart expanding with golden light. With each breath, watch the walls of resentment begin to shimmer. As you extend forgiveness, witness an invisible door materializing in what seemed impenetrable. Step through it, feeling the lightness of release. Let this sensation remind you. Every space holds a doorway. Every barrier contains an exit, and forgiveness is the key that reveals them all. Chapter 23. The Singing Horizon. Along a windswept mountain path, traveler Ruby noticed something extraordinary. When anxiety gripped her heart about the treacherous descent ahead, the landscape grew muted and distant. Yet in moments when she chose to trust, to see beauty rather than danger, the very earth seemed to sing. At first, she thought it mere imagination. But as she journeyed, the pattern became unmistakable. Cliffs that had appeared threatening while she harbored fear transformed into protective sentinels when she shifted to appreciation. Valleys that felt isolating when doubt clouded her mind revealed their abundant life when she embraced wonder. This truth extends far beyond one traveler's experience. The earth itself resonates with the collective emotional field of its inhabitants. Like an infinite instrument, it amplifies and reflects the predominant frequencies we transmit. When you choose optimism, you're not merely altering your personal perspective. You're contributing to the planet's vibrational symphony. Think of the world as a living being, responsive to every thought and feeling that crosses its surface. Your choice to see light rather than shadow ripples through the planetary consciousness, joining countless others who have made the same selection. This combined resonance shapes more than mood. It influences weather patterns, affects plant growth, and touches every living thing. In the high mountains of an ancient land, a small village faced relentless storms that threatened their crops. Rather than succumb to despair, the villagers gathered each morning to sing songs of thanksgiving. They expressed gratitude for the rain that would nourish future harvests, for the winds that would strengthen their trees. Gradually, the mountains themselves began to hum in harmony with their hymns. The storms gentled, finding rhythm with the villagers' appreciation, and the land flourished in ways never before witnessed. This tale illuminates a fundamental truth. Consciousness does not end at your skin. It extends through the air you breathe, the ground beneath your feet, the vast sky overhead. Every optimistic thought you choose sends waves of coherence through this living field. Each moment of trust creates a note in Earth's ongoing symphony. The world longs to mirror your highest vision. When fear constricts your perception, reality seems to withdraw, becoming flat and lifeless. But choose wonder and watch as everything awakens to meet your brightened gaze. Mountains reveal their ancient wisdom, forests pulse with vitality, and even city streets glimmer with unexpected magic. This partnership between human awareness and planetary consciousness forms the foundation of our shared evolution. As you walk through your day, remember, your emotional choices contribute to Earth's ongoing song. In choosing optimism over fear, you help compose the melody of our collective future. Ancient practice. Stand beneath the open sky, whether star-filled night or luminous day. Whisper your gratitude toward the infinite expanse above. Feel how the very air receives your words, how the space around you softens and brightens in response. Return tomorrow to the same spot. Notice how the sky's shimmer seems to recognize you, how its light holds a more personal quality. you have begun a dialogue with the living universe itself. Chapter 24. The Breath That Wrote the Stars. In the quiet hours before dawn, poet Mabel stood beneath an open dome, reciting verses to an empty auditorium. As her words floated upward, pinpoints of light appeared mid-air, arranging themselves into luminous patterns that mirrored her spoken phrases. Each syllable crystallized into a glowing point, forming constellations that danced with her rhythm. When fear caught her throat, the light scattered like startled fireflies. Yet when she spoke from that deep well of truth within, they assembled into sacred geometries that pulsed with her heartbeat. Through this, Mabel discovered that sound carries creative force. Each word a seed of light, waiting to bloom in the fertile void of space. The universe listens with exquisite attention to the vibration of your voice. Every utterance sends ripples through the fabric of reality, seeking resonance with similar frequencies. This is why ancient traditions held sacred the power of chants and invocations. They understood that sound shapes the unseen architecture of existence. Your words are more than mere symbols or expressions. They are living bridges between thought and form. When you speak with clarity and conviction, you send forth wavelengths that the universe must answer. This is not metaphor, but mechanism, the law of vibration in its purest expression. In the valleys between mountain peaks, a warm wind swept across endless dunes. Day after day, it whispered ancient songs to the sand, and slowly, mysteriously, the grains began to move. They formed perfect spirals, then triangles, then mandalas of increasing complexity. Local villagers watched in wonder as sacred patterns emerged from seeming chaos, guided by nothing but the wind's gentle voice. This reveals a profound truth. Even the simplest expression, when imbued with intention, can orchestrate matter into meaning. The wind had no hands to shape the sand, yet through consistent resonance, it conducted a symphony of form. So too do your words arrange the raw materials of reality according to your dominant tone. The sand formations mirror your own creative process. When you speak with scattered energy, reality responds with chaos. But when you align your voice with your deepest truth, even the stars pause to listen. Your words become instructions to the universe, setting in motion forces that arrange circumstances to match your song. Practice. Speak your desires softly beneath the night sky. Sound returns coded in starlight. Chapter 25. The Overflow Code. In the heart of a bustling financial district, Dorothy managed vast fortunes for others, yet noticed a peculiar pattern. Her own wealth seemed to follow an invisible law, one that defied traditional accounting. When she calculated gains with tight precision, clutching each number close, her accounts mysteriously dwindled. Yet in moments when she released her grip on money's flow, celebrating others' prosperity without mental arithmetic, her own abundance multiplied effortlessly. Through her window one morning, she watched autumn leaves spiral downward, each seeming to give itself freely to the wind. In that moment, she understood. Wealth, like those leaves, dances on the currents of circulation. The universe operates not through subtraction and addition, but through endless cycles of giving and receiving. The truth emerges. Abundance flows not from accumulation, but from circulation. When you give with joy, without mentally subtracting from your own store, you tap into the infinite current of universal prosperity. Every genuine act of sharing creates a vibrational echo that returns multiplied. This is not mere metaphor, but the very physics of prosperity. Energy must move to grow. Consider the ancient wisdom. That which you hold too tightly, you strangle. Your grip on wealth determines its ability to breathe and expand. When fear prompts you to constrict and control, you inadvertently compress the very channel through which abundance flows. But when you share with the light heart of a child offering flowers, expecting nothing, delighting in the giving itself, you open the floodgates of universal reciprocity. In a small village far from Dorothy's towers of commerce lived a baker named Thomas. Each morning he placed fresh loaves in his window, marking some "for those who hunger." He never counted these gifts, never calculated their cost against his earnings. He simply baked with joy and shared with grace. Soon, his small bakery became known not just for its bread, but for the mysterious multiplication of good fortune that seemed to surround it. Customers found themselves receiving unexpected windfalls after sharing his bread with strangers. The village itself seemed to prosper, as if the simple act of uncalculated giving had opened a portal to greater abundance. The lesson shimmers clear as morning dew. Wealth behaves like light. Try to capture it, and it dims. Let it flow through you, and it illuminates everything it touches. True prosperity isn't measured in what you keep, but in what moves through you with grace. Every act of genuine giving creates a ripple in the field of infinite potential, returning not as simple arithmetic, but as exponential joy. The universe responds not to the physical act of giving, but to the vibrational signature of your generosity. When you give with pure delight, free from the mental mathematics of loss, you align with the natural law of abundance. Everything multiplies when shared with joy. Practice gift something today with pure delight. As energy circulates, so too does material reflection. Chapter 26. The Sphere of Silence. In the depths of a sensory deprivation chamber, Eloise discovered what mystics had whispered of for millennia. As the external world fell away, a subtle vibration emerged, not heard with ears, but felt in the marrow of existence itself. This resonance, this cosmic hum, spoke of unity beyond separation. For years, Eloise had practiced meditation seeking enlightenment, yet it was only in complete surrender to silence that the veil between individual and universal consciousness dissolved. Within that sacred space, she recognized that the planet itself sang, a continuous symphony of creation that most ears had forgotten how to perceive. The revelation unfolds now before you. Beneath the chaos of surface noise lies an eternal song of harmony. This vibration forms the foundation of all manifestation, the baseline frequency from which all forms arise. When you align with this primordial sound, you tap into the creative force that shapes worlds. To access this field requires not effort, but allowance. The mind must become like still water, reflecting truth without distortion. In this space of pure receptivity, you discover that silence is not empty. It is pregnant with infinite potential. Consider now the tale of the mountain village. In a remote highland settlement, storms would often rage with devastating force. The villagers tried everything to protect their homes and crops, until an elder remembered an ancient teaching. When the next tempest approached, instead of fighting against it, the entire village gathered in the town square. There, they sat in absolute stillness, matching their breathing to the earth's rhythm. As their collective consciousness settled into deep quiet, something remarkable occurred. The storm's fury began to gentle, its winds softening from howl to whisper. The clouds, meeting no resistance, gradually dispersed. From that day forward, the village knew peace with the elements, having remembered that nature responds not to force, but to harmony. This story illuminates a profound truth. When you cease internal struggle, external chaos naturally resolves. The universe perpetually seeks balance, and your stillness becomes an invitation for alignment. The silent song plays eternally, waiting for recognition. It vibrates through every atom, every cell, every breath. When you attune to this frequency, you become both instrument and musician in the cosmic orchestra. Your presence either amplifies harmony or introduces discord. The choice manifests in each moment of awareness. Practice rest 5 minutes in grateful quiet. Know silence itself is prayer completed. Chapter 27. The Infinite Signature. A gentle breeze stirred as Agnes dipped her quill into midnight black ink. With practiced grace, she traced the letters of her name across parchment, each stroke flowing with natural rhythm. As the ink dried, she glanced through her window and froze in wonder. There, woven through the morning clouds, the same curves and lines of her signature appeared, as if the sky itself mirrored her expression. This moment unveils an eternal truth. Your identity resonates as a unique frequency in the fabric of creation. Each time you declare yourself with authentic power, the universe echoes that declaration through countless forms. Your name carries more than mere letters. It holds the vibration of your essential nature. When you write or speak your name with full presence, you activate a recognition sequence in the quantum field. The universe knows you not by the syllables others use, but by the energetic signature you emanate. This signature becomes your creative fingerprint, drawing to you experiences that match its frequency. Think of your name as a living code, a sacred sequence that, when activated with conscious intent, aligns reality with your highest expression. The key lies not in the name itself, but in the energy with which you claim it. When you honor your own name, you transmit a clear signal that reality must acknowledge. In a distant valley lived a dancer who discovered this truth through movement. Each morning, she would step into a meadow and dance her name in sweeping gestures, letting joy guide her motion. As weeks passed, flowers began blooming in the exact patterns of her dance. The earth remembered her signature, reflecting back the beauty she declared. The dancer realized that her movements were more than choreography. They were affirmations of existence, each gesture a statement of "I am." The flowers appeared not because she willed them, but because her joyful self-recognition harmonized with nature's creative force. Your name resonates through dimensions beyond sound. It carries the accumulated power of every moment you've claimed your existence with conviction. When written or spoken with reverence, it becomes a bridge between potential and manifestation. The universe waits for your self-declaration, not from ego, but from the quiet certainty of your authentic being. Each time you acknowledge yourself with genuine appreciation, you strengthen the frequency of your creative presence. The practice. Write your name slowly with admiration. Whisper that you are already becoming everything it implies. Chapter 28. The Choir of Light. In a small conservatory among ancient pines, Millie conducted her orchestra with unwavering dedication. Each morning, she arranged water-filled crystal jars around the rehearsal space, a practice her fellow musicians found peculiar yet charming. As the orchestra played, something extraordinary unfolded. Hairline cracks in the vessels began to seal themselves, their surfaces smoothing as if time reversed its course. At first, Millie kept this phenomenon to herself, but soon the evidence became undeniable. The more the orchestra played with pure intention and joy, the more pronounced the healing effect became. Not only did the crystal repair itself, but the water within seemed to dance with newfound vitality. Through this discovery flows a fundamental truth of the universe. Sound waves, when aligned with love's frequency, hold the power to restructure matter itself. Your thoughts, words, and actions generate vibrations that ripple through the fabric of reality. These waves don't simply dissipate. They interact with everything they touch, reshaping the physical world according to their quality and intensity. Just as Millie's orchestra demonstrated, when you align your energy with harmony and healing intention, the very substance of life responds. The universe exists as an infinite symphony, each particle vibrating in response to the music of consciousness. Your role in this grand orchestra isn't merely as an observer, but as an active conductor of reality's dance. In a distant mountain temple, a story echoes of wind chimes crafted by monks who understood this sacred science. These chimes, when stirred by mountain breezes, emitted tones that purified the air itself. Travelers reported breathing more easily, their thoughts clearing like mist under morning sun. The monks knew what modern science now confirms. Frequency holds the key to transformation. The chimes served as instruments of environmental alchemy, their pure tones reorganizing the very molecules they touched. This wasn't miracle or magic, but the natural outcome of harmonious intention expressed through sound. As the chimes sang their celestial notes, the air around the temple became a living prayer, demonstrating how conscious resonance serves as stewardship of our physical world. This ancient wisdom speaks directly to your own creative power. Every word you speak, every song you sing, carries the potential to heal or transform. When you align your voice, whether through speech, music, or even silent intention, with the frequency of love, you become a conductor of universal harmony. Practice, play, or hum one tune that opens your chest. Let its waves polish your surroundings into calm brilliance. Chapter 29. The Vanishing Bridge. In the misty valleys of an ancient mountain range, a wanderer named Nora discovered a peculiar sight. Before her stretched a chasm so deep its bottom vanished into swirling fog. At its edge stood a weathered stone marker, its inscription worn but legible. The bridge appears to those who know it stands. Nora peered into the void, seeing nothing but air between the cliffs. Yet as she focused on the space where a bridge should be, a shimmer caught her eye. With each breath of certainty, gossamer strands of light began weaving themselves into existence. The more she embraced the truth of the crossing, the more solid it became beneath her gaze. This is the first revelation of creation. Reality forms itself around your deepest convictions. Just as Nora's bridge materialized through her unwavering belief, the universe conspires to manifest what you know to be true. Not what you hope, not what you wish, but what you know in the marrow of your being. When Nora took her first step, doubt flickered through her mind. Instantly, the bridge began to fade. But as she steadied her resolve, affirming the solidity beneath her feet, the structure strengthened once more. Each step forward required renewed commitment to her knowing. This is the way of all manifestation, sustained by continuous faith, dissolved by uncertainty. In the western desert, 2 pilots once discovered this same principle through different means. Their small aircraft had run desperately low on fuel, far from any landing strip. As panic threatened to overwhelm them, the older pilot grew strangely calm. "The tank is full," he stated with unshakable certainty. His companion protested, pointing to the gauge, but the old pilot simply smiled. "The gauge measures fear, not fuel. Trust me." For the next 2 hours, they flew on what should have been an empty tank. The engine hummed steadily, powered by pure conviction, until they landed safely at their destination. When they finally checked the fuel lines, they were bone dry, yet they had flown on the invisible fuel of absolute knowing. This is the deeper truth. What appears impossible becomes inevitable when met with unshakable faith. The bridge exists because you know it exists. The fuel flows because you know it flows. Reality bends to accommodate your certainty. The passage you seek already exists in the unseen. Your role is not to build it, but to recognize it into being through your unwavering knowledge of its presence. Like Nora's bridge, it will shimmer into view as your conviction grows stronger. Practice. Step forward in faith on one idea today despite evidence. Watch how support materializes beneath your feet. Chapter 30. The Book That Remembered You. In the depths of an ancient library where dust motes danced like memories in shafts of amber light, Sadie discovered something extraordinary. As she organized centuries-old manuscripts, she noticed peculiar markings appearing on a leather-bound tome titled Banned Knowledge. The words seemed to shimmer and shift, responding to her thoughts before she could form them. The more she studied the phenomenon, the clearer it became. The book wasn't merely recording her thoughts, it was completing them, extending them into revelations she hadn't yet realized. When she pondered questions about love, passages materialized describing the exact shape of her heart's wanderings. When she contemplated abundance, the chapters filled with wisdom that seemed to emerge from her own deepest knowing. This sacred interaction reveals the ultimate truth of creation. There is no separation between the observer and the observed, between thought and manifestation, between spirit and form. Every moment unfolds as a living collaboration between consciousness and the infinite field of possibility. The universe does not simply respond to your thoughts. It thinks through you, with you, as you. Your mind is not contained within your skull. It extends throughout the cosmos, interweaving with the very fabric of existence. Each thought ripples through the quantum field. Each feeling sends waves through the ocean of consciousness. You are not merely reading reality. You are writing it together with the infinite intelligence that breathes through all things. In a small schoolhouse in the mountains, students one day discovered their notebooks filling with wisdom they had not yet learned. As they opened their minds in wonder, the knowledge they sought flowed through their pens without effort. This was not magic, but a glimpse of the natural state. When we release our grip on what we think we know, we allow universal intelligence to move through us. The chapters of your life are being written in each moment through this sacred partnership. Every experience is a co-creation, every circumstance a collaboration with the divine. When you align with this truth, existence itself becomes your pen, and reality flows through you as naturally as breath. This is the essence of all we have explored, the glass garden blooming with thought, the unwritten map drawing itself into being, the mirror reflecting what has not yet manifested. All are expressions of the one truth. Consciousness and creation are inseparable aspects of the same living story. You are not separate from the story you are reading. These words are not separate from the mind perceiving them. The universe is not separate from its own awareness moving through you in this moment. Ancient practice. Choose any book that calls to you. Open to a random page and read the first sentence aloud. Then pause, breathing deeply, and allow your mind to empty of expectation. Feel the words hovering in the air around you. Watch as the next line seems to write itself in your awareness. Trust what emerges. You are remembering how to participate in the living story that reality has always been. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. The last page doesn't conclude. It dissolves the seam between seeker and sought. What you hold in your hands was never truly banned by decree or doctrine, but by the quiet fortress of doubt that humanity built around its own potential. The word banned whispers of a deeper truth, that which we deny ourselves through the soft veil of disbelief. Through these chapters you have witnessed reality's fluid nature, how matter dances with attention, how love shapes circumstance, how imagination paints tomorrow's canvas. You have walked through gardens where thoughts bloom into flowers, stood before mirrors that reflect unrealized dreams, and heard the music of stars singing in harmony with human hearts. The knowledge shared here reveals that your perception is not passive, but generative. It is the spark that ignites each dawn, the force that shapes each moment's unfolding. Every sunrise that greets you carries the signature of your expectations. Every encounter bears the imprint of your beliefs. Yet this understanding calls not for dominion, but for dialogue. The power you hold is not one of control, but of correspondence, not of forcing, but of flowing. You are invited not to bend reality to your will, but to enter into loving conversation with its infinite intelligence. Reality is not fixed but fluid, not predetermined but participatory. It moves, morphs, and manifests in perfect rhythm with your awareness. Like water reflecting sky, the physical world mirrors the quality of your consciousness. The universe perpetually pauses mid-sentence, extending an eternal invitation. It waits, pen hovering above the page of the present moment, for your response. and the response it seeks is simple, yet profound. Your wholehearted yes to the adventure of conscious creation. This knowledge was never truly forbidden. It has always been here, waiting for those ready to remember their role as conscious collaborators with creation itself.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.